So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Barry Hilton. I'm going to call him Uncle Barry.
You don't have to.
No, my dad says Uncle Barry.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to call you Uncle Barry. Listen, first off, I just want to say thank you for coming out here. To us that are comics, to South Africans, you are it. I don't think you think of yourself like that, but we absolutely, you're the cousin, you're the uncle, you're the guy we looked up to coming up. You're that. So thank you for the time.
Wow. Thanks.
And I wanted to, what do you make of you've been here for 40 years. You've been doing stand-up 43 years.
Yeah.
When I was, so yeah, you started in 82?
83.
83. I was 1.
There we go.
Now, so what do you make of today and the technology and how things have shifted? Because, I mean, you've seen it all.
My son is very involved in this. He does like, say, the opening ceremony for the IPL.
Oh, okay. That's a massive thing. That's a massive thing.
In Saudi Arabia and America, and he does that. So he's very into this.
Yeah.
And I said to him one day, Jack, I don't know, Brad, I'm not feeling it, you know.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Dad, did you know that you were famous before Facebook?
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't think that way. I don't walk around saying, check at me, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy to be on stage and making people laugh. That's the best.
Yeah.
The second best feeling now for me, because the best, I've changed, but we can talk about it later. I've gone into inspirational talking about mental health.
Yes.
And it's from my experience.
Yes.
Suicidal thoughts and just feeling hopeless and and I ended up in a clinic.
Okay.
So while I was in the clinic, I thought, hold on, maybe I should talk about this.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because just off air we spoke about how people think that comedians are, you know, it's always
100%.
funny. Yeah. And we often mask. I always tell people, there's a very different Alfred. It's me, but it's also, it's something, when I was very young, I created this funny guy to cope.
Yes, of course. Me too.
To cope.
That's how I did.
I'm shy.
How many exception? You married, I take it.
Yes, very married.
So how many times has people spoken to your wife? It's your wife.
Yes.
Which you don't know these days.
Yeah. You never know.
Your wife, and they'll say to your wife, oh my gosh, is he like this all the time at home?
Yes.
And my wife says, no, he's just a normal guy. I believe I'm a normal guy. I've been there, done that. I've worked the massive gigs. My last major gig was 10 years ago. I did the Sydney Opera House, and I filled it.
That's a big gig, eh?
It's huge.
There are only 3 South Africans that I know that has done that. Trevor, Mel Miller, and yourself.
I was the first act.
Were you first? Yeah, of course you were first. Trevor's younger than me.
But I'm
and
saying,
Mel.
But Trevor, you know, let's get real. Trevor's this generational talent. He's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And now, for the people out there, don't start slagging him off. He's doing something well, and he's doing something that no other South African has done. He's done this. He's world famous.
Yes, he is.
But it's not just like, oh, I've heard of him. He's world famous. And Trevor, if you're listening, many years ago, you told me when you make your first 15 million, you're going to send me one. So catch a wake up.
He's met a couple.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Listen, and you know, I always speak positive. I always tell people, I've met Trevor a couple of times. He's always been very good. But people don't realize that he's a generational talent, like you said, outside of South Africa. There are Owens in London that go, wow, that dude. You know, we always think of him as from the South African perspective.
Yes. I get so anyways, what were we talking about this? So, I don't know.
Your big show at Sydney Opera.
Big show at Sydney Opera. Jeez, old age. I remember I did 2,400 people or something like that. And I did 2.5 hours. Now, my shows are never, ever...
That's long, eh?
My shows are never, ever scripted. I don't go on with a set.
Yes.
I walk on stage and I talk.
Okay.
And that's what I do.
I didn't know that.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
And then I've got this over the years. You know, you get... So I'm able to mix and match.
Okay.
And change it to work, that way. I phoned my wife up after the show. I said to her, okay, I'm out. She said to me, what do you mean? I said, no, man. All I could think about for the last 20 minutes was what we were going to braai when I got home.
Yeah.
So that was my last big show. There was some other stuff going on in South Africa. I'd done Grand West 3 times in a year, sold out.
Yeah.
I did Carnival City, sold out.
That's big.
I did some huge gigs in London. One of them, I think, was the Royal Albert Hall. That was with a group of oaks.
Yes.
Now, the Sydney Opera House for me was better.
Yeah.
And I've done Vegas, in one of the biggest rooms in Vegas, and I smashed it.
Really?
And that year, was it Sour Grapes? No, I don't think it was Sour Grapes. It was just like, times had changed.
Yeah.
They got this Comics Choice.
Yes.
Which is fine.
Yes.
I wasn't even put down on the list.
Yeah.
And I said to Sandy, there's something not right here.
Yes.
They said I wasn't the best comic. I mean, that's what you want. I received a lifetime achievement.
I know. I was there.
But as far as I was concerned, I was the main at the time. And they didn't even put me on the list.
Yes.
So I said to Sandy, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And I started, then we changed. I didn't sort of work for about 8 months. I thought, stuff this.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
And no, after a while, we were going on, I was plodding along. And the taxman loves me.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. And then it was like 2 years basically with very, very, very little work. Remember that?
Yes, I remember very well.
So that's when I said to Sandy, I'm not going to do this anymore. So then I tried to retire, but can't, man, because my brain is constantly going.
It's not something you can just like wake up one day and switch off.
Well, do you know what I'm doing now? My son in the UK told me I must do this. He said I must get a stick that you and I could fit in the it's a portrait, eh?
Yeah.
And I can do this. I can say, give me a subject and I will tell you a joke about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can do that at will.
Yes.
Give me a subject.
Yeah, monkeys.
Monkeys.
Yeah.
You know, some monkeys actually opened up a library type shop with the humans, and it wasn't called a scene, it was called a DNA.
You see, there's a joke.
That's a joke. Now, a lot of people, so I can do that, and I do that all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people assume that our jokes are this long.
Yeah.
But actually, our jokes, and I've watched you, obviously,
yes.
our jokes are this long because there's 20 gags in between, and each gag is a second.
Yes. You try and pack them in.
Yeah.
Every 20 seconds, there must be a laugh.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to do that. But people, when they think comics, they think, we go and we study this whole long story. If you watch Billy Connolly, I'm a big fan of Billy Connolly.
Yes.
He tells a story, and he tells 10 stories within that story.
Yes. He's brilliant.
So when I do this, like any subject, it started off, I was in a club. Excuse me, but asthma. Started off, I was in a club, and I just out of the blue one day, I said, you know what, give me a subject, I'll tell you a joke about it.
Yeah.
So it was the time the Queen was still alive. And this guy shouted out, Queen Elizabeth. And I said, the Queen is not a subject.
Oh, you see, that's so fast. That's
great.
Great.
How it started. So give me a chance. Give me a subject, anything you want.
Saister.
Cameras. Shall I do it snappy?
You see?
Boom, boom. So I can do that. And it's not, you see, it's not like I'm telling you this long joke. It's just a pun. It's just a witty.
Yeah.
That's how we write our stuff.
Yes.
We get, that goes there. Oh, okay. That's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my son said I should do it and actually challenge people and then put it on TikTok.
You should do that. Absolutely should do that. I met your son. He used to work at MGG back in the day.
Bradley, he's monster now. Eh?
Yeah. He's overseas, eh? Yeah.
He's got a company called Pixel Nation.
Okay.
He told me when you met you.
Yeah, he said. So my thing is that, and this is the lessons I've taken from you from a distance. I've always gone, for a guy to be able to be relevant 43 years after he started, there's something and that always sticks with me is that you've always done in my opinion, the right stuff is keep it tidy. You've always kept it tidy. And there was a time in comedy where people thought that you had to, the dirtier you get, and they like to make as if it's a South African thing. It's not. It's not. It's everywhere. Yes.
Can I tell you that there's only one guy in South Africa that pulled that off properly? It was John Lismus.
Yes. Very good friend of mine.
Yeah, no.
Great guy.
Very nice, very good.
Yeah.
When he created this own persona, and his persona on stage is 180 from
who he really is, yeah.
He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
We bumped heads big time in the beginning. Because when you start, you get arrogant and you think you're clever and you do this and you do that. So we bumped heads a lot. But then afterwards, we started slowly. And then he said to me one day, I'll never forget this. He said to me, he says, Baz, these new flippin' comedians are so up their own footballs.
Yeah.
And I said, John,
I remember.
You were that? And I said, I was the same, because Mel Miller pulled me down to earth. And he said to me, you're an excellent pal, but just focus.
Yeah.
Mel Miller said, the world's not about you, but it's about you making the world laugh.
Yeah.
So
you also come from a time when, and I want to touch on this, is that if you started in 1983, there were no comedy clubs, there were no gigs. Stand-up wasn't a thing South Africans understood. How do you come from? Because I know you were an electrician before that.
I was an electrician.
Yes.
I hated it. I just hated being an electrician. I just hated it.
Yeah.
And I was looking for the way out. It cost me a marriage, actually.
Yeah.
Because my then wife, she just could not see that I would want to stop being an electrician.
Because it's a stable job in 1983.
Absolutely. And she's great. I mean, she's still around. She's the mother of my daughter. I messed that up. But that's life, unfortunately. I still think she's great. I did actually love her very much. But it just didn't work because we were living on two different ideals, Yeah. So eventually I got a job. And I pretended that I was from Liverpool. I'm serious. I went to this agent's office and I said, hey, look, I've heard that you're looking for comedians. And the guy said to me, in the short story, where are you from? I said, I'm from Liverpool. He said, tell me a joke. And I told him a joke that I had, what I must have written when I was 10. And because I did it in this Liverpool accent, he gave me a job.
Okay.
He gave me the job. So I go now, the only gigs there.
So you're an electrician at this time still?
Yes, sorry about coughing.
No.
So anyways, he gives me the job, and I went to the Holiday Inn in Port Elizabeth.
Yes, I know it.
And I followed this guy called Mike Stand Douglas. He was this very sharp Irish guy who was Irish jokes.
Yes.
So are you in Italian now?
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. I heard. So I go there. They give me this job because they think I'm from Liverpool, And I remember meeting the junior, the vice not headmaster, the innkeeper, the vice head innkeeper, assistant innkeeper. He said to me, I don't know who you are, pal, but you're going to have to do something special to follow this guy.
Yeah.
Nothing like a bit of challenge,
Of course.
So luckily, I could do 4 hours when I started. I've been practicing since I was 8, Alfred. And those days it was just, Alfred, sorry.
Yeah.
It was just jokes. So every time they came into the room, I'm talking like that. Really?
Okay.
And the guys in the audience, I could hear them talking to each other saying, but this oak is flipping brilliant. He's the best. I've never seen there's no South African comic can touch this guy. This is why they're so great. He's from Liverpool. Really true.
Yeah.
So end of my contract comes and they want to extend my contract because I'd smashed the place.
How would gigs work then? If you
I used to get 3 months gigs, and it was a strip club. Lunchtime cocktails. I did that for years.
Okay, so that wasn't the gig though that you're talking about now. In the Holiday Inn.
The Holiday Inn. I had to go. It was 3 months. A 3 months gig. He did lunchtime cocktails. Joe Parker was playing at night.
He told me that. He told me
and
that
you got. Sorry.
He told me that you had to sort of do 4 hours. That wasn't abnormal. You'd play a little music, do a little joke.
4 hours, nothing. Easy.
Now that's unheard of. We go, what,
20
15
minutes.
max?
So the thing is that the story comes like this. So they call me into the office and they said to me, we'd like to, extend your contract. And I said, no, I'm not surprised. From Liverpool, Grace. And they said, no, you're the funniest oak we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So they said, but we need to clear up something. And I thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
They've nailed me.
Yeah.
And I said, what you need to clear up or what? And the guy said, we've heard that you can do a very, very, very good South African accent. So that's when the South Africanish came out. I said, well, funny you should say that.
Oh, so how did you transition? Did you just, was it because I had a day job. I was in marketing for many years, and I didn't let go until my career sort of had legs.
I stopped. Bah!
Cold.
Cold.
That's very scary. That's a scary thing because you're jumping into something completely inconsistent.
I was at the level in my life that I couldn't take it anymore.
Is it?
Being this electrician. I would go play soccer and I would be the guy in the change room telling all the gags. I would be talking this. We'd go out at night and I'm telling all the gags.
Yeah.
And one day I was at this place in Claremont. Yeah, Claremont. It's called the Chelsea Arms.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in Wynberg actually. And there was a guy on stage and he got a little bit this.
Yeah.
And it was those days he was telling jokes.
Yeah.
And I had a few in. And he told this gag and he cocked up the gag. And I said to him, whoa, that's wrong. This is before I turned pro. Yeah. And the guy said to me, well, if you're so sharp, why don't you do it? So I stood up on the table there, but on the table, and I clapped it. I did like 5-10 minutes. And the owner of the club came to me. This is just before I turned pro. He came to me. Now, bearing in mind, I've been going to this guy for 3 years.
Yeah.
Every Saturday or every time I get there and said to the guy, please, give me 15 minutes. No. Because the bands used to work and then 15 minutes break.
Yeah.
So then he said to me, can you come on Sunday? I went down the Sunday night, and I smashed it. I did 15 minutes, 25 Rand.
25 Rand. But then, I mean, it's good money.
So anyway, then I that was my sort of realization, I can do this, man. So I went to that agent, I did this, and a guy called Johnny Noble helped me.
Yes.
He was an old-time comic. He's passed away now.
Sadly, I know the name.
He actually was the guy that actually helped me bullshit the guys to get in.
So at the time when you got in, because when I got into comedy, I'll tell you the guys that like we came in, Goliath felt a lot because even though we were peers, they were driving these club gigs.
That's right.
And that's where I met you. I met you in a Goliath club one night.
You announced me on stage.
Yes, one night.
I got it on video.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Love to see that. And then also John helped me tremendously. But who were the guys at that time? Was it Mel? Was it?
When I started?
Yes.
It was Mel Miller, Cy Sachs, Cyril Green, Johnny Noble, Paul Andrews, all this old style comics. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I love old comedy. I just love comedy, period.
I do feel like there's a turn back. Have you noticed that there's a turn back to that style of doing things?
Yes, of doing things. You can actually be funny and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what the Oaks. And I got this gig. And then Joe was in a league of his own.
Yeah.
Because Joe was Joe. He created this persona. But Joe would do 4 hours.
Yes. And he had the guitar.
What he would do, the band would come on and do the first 2 set and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
It was 3 sets when he did it.
Yeah.
So, but it was 3 1-hour sets plus bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And then he would come on in the second set, play a few songs with them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Funny. Third set he would do serious comedy.
Yeah.
And I used to go watch him every Sunday. Every Sunday I was there. Watched him, analysing him. Things like that. So those were the guys. And Joe Parker was different from Mel XYZ. I believe personally Mel Miller is the best comic ever this country has ever
I used to find him very funny.
Anyway, so Joe couldn't get on the TV because he was too coarse.
In the 80s, that was very gentle compared to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, he had these, and I started admiring his chutzpah.
Yeah, standing his ground.
So I spoke to him one day. I was stuck at this pub it was a really good club in Joburg called the Runway Bar.
Okay.
And I was there 10 shows a week, month in, month out, with a guy called Tony the King.
Oh, I love Tony. Tony, another guy that's been very good.
I'm sorry. So anyways.
Tony's been here since then.
Yeah.
Tony is South African, man.
Yeah,
He's still that accent.
So I spoke to Joe about it, because by that time we'd created a little rapport, And he said to me, grab a set of balls, dude, and book a gig. I was like, really? So I booked this place. He was working at this place in Broomer Lake. No, not, I lie. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Near Rosebank. O'Hagan's it was. It was downstairs. And he went there, Mel Miller went there, Sysex went there, and they were known brands.
Yeah.
So they would fill the room.
Yes.
So Joe said to me, go there and tell the guy, I'm going to put the word in for you. And tell the guy you'll do 3 1-hour sets. Okay. Because it was a Sunday, so it was a little bit low. So I go there. I said, Joe sent me. He said, okay, I'll try you out. 6 people.
That's a meeting.
Then I went the next Sunday, 10.
Okay.
The third Sunday, 8. And the guy said to me, look, I want to give you one more chance. And if it doesn't work, you're out, because you're just nowhere close to these guys.
Yeah, they're making money.
They are making. Yeah. And the next Thursday, the Sunday I went there, I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely jam-packed.
What had happened?
Word of mouth.
Yeah, those 18 people.
Got to see these oaks, but you got to see this oak. And boom.
Yeah.
And then went from there. Then I started doing bigger shows, and big corporates would come in.
Yes. And then of course, I mean, you've lived through so many stages of stand-up. Then you get these, so now you go from that, and one of the, because I'm very friendly with Joe Parker. He's a very good friend to me. He's been very kind to me. Mel used to complain. Mel used to go, Alfred, you're great, man, but you got sticky feet, man.
Yes. He used to tell me that. He used to tell me, come on, Barry, you're better than that.
Yeah, you're sticky feet, man. Tony used to call me Albert, and he knew my name was Alfred. He's still, today, if he announces me anyway, he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Albert, because it's like a thing he does. But weirdly enough, Tony was the guy that told Joe, no, man, enough is enough. You must put this guy on the regular lineups. Yeah. But Tony's been
great. I saw him last week.
Yeah, Tony's been great. And the guitar. And one day I watched Tony at the Rand Easter show. And I said, yeah, this Elvis impersonator is amazing. I don't know it's Tony. I see Tony the next week. I said, Tony, you got to run for your money, eh? There's an Elvis guy. I saw him at the Rand. He said, it was fucking me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what happens, you see. And sorry.
Yeah.
Comedy changed, and it went through a spike. John came through.
Yeah.
Chris Forrest.
Yeah.
A lot of guys came through. Chris was good. John was excellent.
Yeah.
The rest were just crap. I believed.
Yeah. At the time.
Al Progus was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I realized that these oaks were a flash in the pan, but they were dissing me left, right, and center. Because,
really?
Yeah. So I said, stuff this. So I went to this place where they all worked.
Uh-huh.
And I destroyed them, bro. And then all of a sudden it was like...
Okay.
So I spoke to this one oak, and he said to me, and I will keep his name out of it.
Yeah.
I did this club. I was like 300 people, and I came back, and I was in Kempton Park.
Yeah.
And there was 8 people in the club. With these oaks, 4 of these oaks were doing comedy.
Mm.
So the guy said to me, I don't know why you're doing here, because we think you're crap. And I said, oh, well, never mind.
Oh, is that what he said to you?
To me, to my face. I'm so sorry about this. So
no, what about it?
I said to him, hold on. I said, I'll tell you what's wrong with you, Oaks. Why are you not getting people? He says, we don't know, because your jokes are rubbish. That's what he told me.
South African?
Yes.
Yo.
He's one of the Oaks who's tried his luck, but he's nowhere there. So I said to him, what's the second largest moon of Jupiter? I just said it. And he told me.
Oof.
That's how intelligent this guy was.
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. So I turned to the guy. There was a guy there half drunk listening to this dribble that was on. And of course, these guys was fluking and doing weird stuff. I said to the oak, what's the second largest moon of Jupiter? He said to me, has Jupiter got moons? That was his answer to me.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what happens when you leave milk out the fridge? He said, it goes sour. And I turned to this other comic. I said, that's why I'm better than you are.
Yeah.
Because I tell people stuff they already know.
Yeah.
And that time I wasn't doing jokes per se. I was just doing me.
Yeah. And so when you guys went from, and I know you would have an opinion on this, when you transitioned, you went from into New South Africa, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Did you, when these new audiences flooded through the gates,
Yes.
you I won't say survived that, you thrived through that, because when I came,
I didn't upset anybody.
Yeah. You thrived through that. So there was always this opinion that, okay, now these old oaks are going to fall off now. Yeah. You were not one of those
guys. They told me that all the time. I was rubbish. Okay. Got to a stage when they found out I was going to be on the bill. A lot of them pulled out.
Really?
Because they tried to, 2 or 3 times they said, listen, you old. Let me close rather. You just open. I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I would open, and then the oak would die on his ass.
Yeah. It's a tough follow.
It wasn't because I was funnier than them. They were so arrogant.
Yeah.
That they used to do, and you must never do this, and I'm sure you don't. They would tell a joke that was quite lame, and then look at the other comics because the audience didn't laugh, and they would go like, shh.
No, man.
That's insulting your audience.
100%.
So this one guy in particular, he lasted 3 minutes after me. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And he just came back. He said, I don't know, these audiences just crap. I understand your jokes because they're rubbish. I was like, okay.
Why?
Because...
it's strange for me, Uncle Barry, because when I started, I think I came in, I started for 13 years ago. I'm new, really. So you go, when I started, I think that a lot of that stuff you guys suffered through, I was weeded out. Because when I started, I was very fortunate that I had a very, actually when I listened to things, because I've heard these stories from other people. That's not unique. Yeah. That I've started with a group of people that sort of, it was a little bit more mature.
And there was comedy clubs.
It was comedy clubs. Joe had a comedy club. So there's a system of sort of vetting people.
Yes.
You could go and really, and I tell people this all the time. You can go to New York and go to London. There's always going to be a crappy gig down the road. But everyone aspires to be in these formalized big comedy clubs, and that sort of sets a bar, which helps people, especially new comics, regulate their brains, because you can be hot there by your own chommies, but what happens here when you come in front of a...
I went to Vegas. I was invited to go to Vegas. It was a bit of a mission, but I got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in Harrah's, big comedy club there, like 500 people, whatever. It was during the week. I think I did Tuesday to Saturday. That's what it was. And the audience was slow in the week because it's free in the comedy clubs there, in the casinos.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? And I get there, and I get looked up and down by these guys. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
I said, don't worry about me, bro. So then I'd realized my worth.
Yeah.
I go on stage and I whip these acts properly.
Yeah. These are now Americans.
Yeah. Not because I was so much funnier than they were. It was because I had the audacity to become different.
Okay.
And I used to say, good dudes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is new to me. I'm from South Africa.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, are you from South Africa? I said, yes. And I said to him, but to make you feel at home, give me your wallet. So that's how it started.
Yes.
So I started talking about South Africa there.
Yeah.
And by the end of the week, I was closing.
And so you also dealt with the stigmas. So what would happen is that there was also a time where if you had gone outside of the country and you're from South Africa, remember that you started at a time South Africa was still in sanctions.
Yes.
So now they look at you like people don't want to listen to you. No. They don't. You have to fight that thing. They don't really understand what's happening.
It was tough for me.
Yeah.
I went to the UK. I got paid off in the university once, and I walked on stage, and I said, "Hey, how's it? Thanks very much. I appreciate this. I'm from Johannesburg."
Yeah.
The guy got up, walked across to me on stage, gave me my money. It was £100 or something like that. and said, we don't want racists here.
Didn't know who you were, didn't know what your
Nothing. And I
views
said to him,
were.
"But are you serious?"
Yeah.
But I took the money and left. So it was hard because I'm not a racist. I'm not. I've never been.
Yeah.
Back in the days, people, well, in South Africa still, we can tell jokes across our cultural barriers.
Yeah.
And people in South Africa have a laugh about it.
Yeah. They know, we get it.
I tell a story about, so I don't know, I tell a story and say, I met this dentist from Joburg. He went to Mitchell's Plain. He made a fortune.
Yeah.
Because he saw a gap in the market.
I saw that, but...
Okay, but people scream with laughter. And who screams the most?
Yeah.
The oaks who want to do with Mitchell's Plain. They love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not mocking the people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude, this is how we are in South Africa. Yeah. Because some of the, if you call the coloured oaks, they come on and they talk shit about the white oaks, but in a nice way.
Yes, there has to be a balance in these things. Absolutely. You're not walking out there and just doing coloured out. No. You're going white out, black out, pink out, purple out.
And then dogs, houses, wives. That. What's happening? I get a lot more called black people in South Africa.
Yeah.
That come to my shows. About 30% of my shows now have got black people.
Yeah. So my thing has been that, like I go, I've tried to turn it back from doing too many race jokes because I find it to be lazy now, So I go, let me try and take that out. And because I've done that, so I I still do to a degree, but I've tried to write the show so that there's no black guy, pink guy. So then when I started to do that, white oaks come.
You know why? Okay.
The audiences have become way more diverse, is what I'm trying to say.
Johnny Noble told me when I started, you can copy somebody and copy their style and copy the way they do things, and in 5 years, you will be a nobody.
Yes.
Okay. Or you can take 10 years to find your own style and your persona, and you'll be there for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
Okay. What was a cop-out very early when you guys started, it was, I'm black, you whites did this. I'm black, the coloureds did this. I'm black. Enough already, bro. Now, Alfred goes on stage. Yes, you must be blind and deaf if they don't know that you're coloured.
Yeah.
Okay. The tone of your voice, the pronunciation of words, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because coloured people in South Africa have a certain way of talking, realistically.
Yeah.
But you don't go on da. So you're telling a story about your wife and your kids, but from your perspective. So then the oaks from other cultures know your perspective and they laugh because they see past that and they, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that in England. The oaks will poop in their pants, bro.
No, they do. I've learned this the hard way, Uncle Barry. I've gone out there. You start realizing very quickly that, like, there are then what I do now in different countries. It's like a record selection. I go, okay, I know if I speak race in this town, they're gonna turn off immediately.
Yeah.
So what? And I'd go, I'm choosing all my relationship jokes. The time I struggle to get a loan at the bank, then I just stay away from those things because this is something I never got with a lot of entertainers. Is I'm here to entertain this audience. They didn't come here to be insulted. They came here for a liquor night out. I know 100% that if me and you go down the list, eventually, me, you, or Sister, we are going to disagree about something. I'm not here for that. I'm here to entertain you. You paid for a ticket. So that's just something I never understood. So now when I go overseas, that's helped me tremendously.
Yeah, me too. I just change,
Yeah. I tell them the things they are going to be entertained by. I tell them I'm from
South Africa.
Yeah.
I say, look, I'm from South Africa. We do things a little bit different, but it's actually the same.
Yeah.
I was in Wales the one time. Okay, I was doing the Glee Club in Wales. And I got on stage and I taught the whole audience. I did 20 minutes. I taught the whole audience about Dacha.
Yeah, I love those Dacha jokes. I love those that you tell.
I had the guys in Australia going along. I'm saying da-da-da-da-da, whatever. Or in Wales, it was in Wales as well. I'm saying, it's not marijuana, and they would go like, Dacha. So I explained to them the word Dacha. And then I did my stories about it, and then they were in uproar.
Yes.
Because I changed their mindset from marijuana, dope, replaced it with dacha. They knew exactly
it's
what I
was
talking
talking about. It's a fun word
about.
for them.
Yeah, it was different, you know.
Yes.
So I did well there. I actually do well overseas, but I've flown so many times, I don't know.
Yes. I watched you on the plane the other day, and I went like, surely Uncle Barry doesn't want to be on these flights anymore. Because I find it...
Where did you watch me?
I saw you... No, I saw a video of you. I'm traveling again with a backpack. Then I went... Laser, my dad said this. He said, at a certain age, my boy, you're not going to want to get on those planes. And I'm starting to feel it. I'm still very grateful.
Yeah,
but I'm starting to go, hey, these planes, it's rough on the body.
And I've flown economy plus.
My whole
I've
life.
flown business. I've flown first. Let me tell you, you still feel shit when you get to the other side, no matter how you fly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so you think, it's still crap. You don't sleep because the plane's doing this, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then you get, like I used to do a lot of work in Hong Kong. And actually, they phoned me up the other day to go back there, but the timing wasn't right. Very nice place in Hong Kong. And there was Macau, Hong Kong, then we went to Singapore, and you do Thailand, and whatever. It's all people. And people always say to me, is there a lot of South Africans there? I said, yes, but it's not only South Africans. It's people who enjoy comedy. And the people now that comedians worldwide have actually schooled the people out there, the comedy fans, that there is other types of comedy.
Yes.
It's like music genres.
Yes.
So you go on, and every now and again you get idiots.
Yeah.
You know, and guy said to me once in London, he was drunk out of his mind, bro. I was on stage and I said something about my friend in Cape Town, and I started talking like Cape Town. It wasn't coloured. Oak said to me, "You're racist, mate." And I said to him, "Yes, I am." It was like silence. I said, "My best time for 100 meters is 13. What is yours?"
Just
boom.
Different.
But he was just trying to be clever.
Yeah. No. You know those guys.
Can I tell you the funniest line I said? Really, it happens.
Sure.
We have words in South Africa that only South Africans know.
Yes.
Like toli.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was doing the story, and I don't know how it happened. Instead of saying, what did they say? I said, toli. And this British guy said to me, "What's a toli?" So I remember saying to him, "It's like a penis.
Yeah.
But it's longer." And the guy said to me, "How do you know?" And I said, "Well, it's got an extra letter."
Very funny.
No, but that I didn't. That was like on the spur.
It happens.
But it
Just
happens. You
in the
do
moment.
it all the time.
Yeah, in the
You know
moment.
what the best is when you're talking to people on stage.
Yeah.
And you're talking about dogs, and then something comes up about an airplane, and you just go, "Ba ba ba ba," and you come back to that. Isn't that a great feeling?
Fantastic. A callback. Yes. So my one of the big jokes for you in your career for me has been the ons gaan nou. Ons gaan nou braai.
I didn't realize I was wearing this. My wife told me when I came.
When did you realize this thing had become completely something else? Because now it's crossed every cultural boundary.
When people started
stealing it, huh? Yeah. In public, like, is it?
Big companies have taken it. Yeah, big companies. But I actually used to get cross about it. But now the real people know that it was me.
No, everyone knows it's you. Yeah.
No gaan ons braai. And it actually happened by accident.
Really?
A guy said to me after my show, "Môre gaan ons braai, wil jy môre braai?" And I just started the story, and the next day I went on stage and I spoke about this thing for 15 minutes, and it was an absolute uproar.
Punchline is so strong.
Take for me.
Yeah. But Barry's over, man. And it's also the mumbling.
Yeah.
There's a mumble that is. So
I've had 5 negatives on that. 5 guys that have actually, one physically threatened me.
Really?
Yeah. He said the 5. It was more like, "Who the hell do you think you are? You're not Afrikaans. Don't mock us." And the one guy said, "If I ever see you, I'm going to bliksem you because you're mocking my culture." But he wrote it on a thing, but he got hammered by people from all different cultures Said to him, catch a wake up, bro. That's, braai is probably one of the only words in South Africa that is spoken in any language.
Yeah, it's such a...
No matter where you are.
Yeah.
It's braai.
Also, like I always go, and when I say to people, that people don't get this, a comedian doesn't make... there are certain groups and things, and I'll never make fun of... I don't make fun of things I don't love. A culture, I must love a culture to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to understand, like the gap thing. To understand
nobody. If I told that in England, they'd go like,
no, I must know you. I must have bride with you. I must have been friends with you for me to really hit the nail on the head. Yeah. And it's in many ways a joke about a culture specifically is a celebration of them because we love you, man. I once went from one thing to the next. Your very good friend, Joe Parker picks me up. He says, Jan Kaitan, he says, listen, let's go out and you're going to open for me. I've got 45 minutes. I got to do at a biker bar in Milnerton.
Yesterday.
My friend, I walk out there. And Joe in the car told me, he says, Alfred, just tell your jokes. Don't be intimidated by these people. Yes. We walked in because they loved him. I walked in and it's just burly, you gaat jy gemoer word.
Yeah.
And then you realize something. A good joke makes the, like people
everybody laugh.
Yes, they're distracted for a second by your appearance. But if you tell a good joke,
yes,
they all cannot help with any prejudice, what they may have or may not have, they will laugh at a good joke.
I think, to explain that from my mind, if you tell it with a smile on your face, without any malice, but more mischievous, people love it.
Yeah,
because they're going like, it's funny. Bro.
Yeah, I'm not hurting you. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Because it's like, I do this story now for some obscure reason about dog food, how expensive dog food is.
Yes,
and with the pellets. Have you got dogs?
I used to have a dog. Okay. No, not anymore. But it's helishly expensive.
But anyway. So I did the story, and everybody in the audience, first of all, I say, who's got dogs? And then 90% of the people go like that. And it's people from all different social standings and cultures. And when I start talking about the expense of these pellets, I say, why don't they go to Checkers? I say these fancy dog food oaks. They go to Checkers and they buy all that cheap shit from Checkers, which is not bad. You know what I'm saying? Then they bring these massive bags home. Then they decant it into their own packets. Yeah. They put in a teaspoon of olive oil and say it's scientifically formulated and sell it for 10 times the price.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
But it does people scream with laughter because it's the truth.
Yeah. And tell me, Uncle Barry, like how you've seen great comics come and go. And my opinion on this is longevity. Do you agree that longevity has got a lot to do with not just your ability to understand the audience, but also your business acumen in this thing?
I think you got to know where you are. I would be foolish at this time in my life to say, you know what, I'm going to go and do the Grand West again.
Yeah,
it would take too much effort for me. I can do all day long.
Yeah.
But I'm happy where I am. Do you understand? Yeah. That's why I haven't stepped out. I'm happy exactly where I am. So my level is here and I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys, they don't change, Albert. They don't change. I call you Albert. They don't. I'm from Manchester.
Yeah.
They don't change. A lot of the newer guys, the new comics, I watch them. And a lot of guys come to me and say, can I come on yours? Because they start talking to me now.
Yeah,
sure. I've got rules.
Yeah.
Can't do this. If you do that.
Yeah.
And then they come back the next time, and it's like listening to a tape recording. Then they do it the third time. I say, dude,
it's the same thing.
You can open up again for me next. But if you do any of that stuff, I said, just change 5 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
No, but you don't understand. And I said, okay, next.
Don't understand. The 40 years I've been here, I don't understand.
Don't understand.
So a lot of the time, and I've been that young, cocky, and arrogant comic.
You and me both, but...
Then I look at guys like, no, man, they don't know what they're talking about. And the older I've gotten, the longer I've been here, the more I start, I'm now the guy. Because I'm the guy now. I had a guy. And some of these guys, I love them. They're friends of mine. But then they ask me, can I open? I go, never. Because you don't come and ruin my show.
You can't do that. And Zalaiti phoned me up about 4 years ago now. So funny. He said, I'm so-and-so. I said, oh, great. He said, no, I'm doing well in the Cape Town thing, and I'm having my own one-man show. That's the thing, have your own one-man show.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Why you? What? He said, look, I'd like to give you the opportunity to open for me.
What?
All my life. I said to him, I'm sorry?
Huh?
He said, no, I've got a one-man show, and I thought it might help you, if you open for me.
Huh?
So I said to the Oak, where are you working, bro?
Yeah.
Because I'm intrigued. Fireman's Arms.
My bro.
Do you know the Fireman's Arms?
I know the Fireman's Arms.
It holds about 12 people if they take the chairs out.
Yeah, bless the Fireman's Arms.
They're brilliant.
They do a great beer, but I mean, come on.
Oak, but what? You're going to do an hour there. And you want me to open for you?
Dude.
I said, dude. And then he was actually quite cocky. Oh, well, if you don't want to carry on. I said, but where's this guy?
We don't know.
Disappeared. But he's been taken by the men in black somewhere. I don't know.
I've got a story for you. I had... people don't know this. We spoke about going overseas. You had Ursula Carlson used to open for you.
Brilliant.
And people, I'll tell you my story with Ursula. And this is the thing about checking yourself and not being cocky. I was the headliner at that same club I opened for you.
Yes.
Jason and them's club, Goliath. And I remember now, we also don't know what we don't know. There's this lady, she's got a very Kiwi accent, but she's from South Africa. Yeah, she just wants to jump. She's on holiday. She's a comic overseas. She just wants to jump on for 5 minutes. Me, I'm very naturally flicker with people.
But she's very talented, very clever.
Brilliant. So I chat to her. She jumps on. You know how it goes. She's trying some new stuff. She's out of country. It was okay. I bump into her again at the Sydney Comedy Festival. She says, let's go and have breakfast. I'm going to have breakfast with her. At this point, I haven't Googled her name. I just call her Ursula. It's going on liquor. I'm at the Inmore Theatre in Newtown. Yeah. I'm in the wine bar. I sold out. I go, Barry, I'm feeling good about my life. I say to this lady, this is what, not checking up. And thank goodness I was not cocky and rude. She goes, I'm also on at the Inmore tonight. Why didn't you come check me out afterwards? Your show is when? Yeah, no, it's this time. And the other show is a little later. I got finished. I had a rip-roaring time. I mean, I sold a whole 150 tickets.
Wow, bro.
I'm doing well, yeah, bro. That's full even. I walk out. I ask the people that work there, I said, where's Ursula's show? Oh, no, you can go in the top. Go in the top. Ursula's got 2,000 people, 2 shows a day for the week.
Yes.
Ursula is different. She's brilliant. But she started, when she started, she opened for you. Yes, and people don't know that here's another great export. One of the biggest, and she's in a big Hollywood movie now. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was in New Zealand. I was invited to go and I did a tour with quite a shady oak.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I had a day off and we were in Auckland.
Yeah.
So I looked up and I said, oh, Ursula's playing at the Auckland Comedy Club.
Yes. So
I go there and at the door, it was a very slow night. So I said, listen, I'm Barry Hilton. I'm a comedian from South Africa. She said, yeah, who the hell, basically.
Yeah.
I said, would you please tell Ursula I'm here just to see her, Mm. Eventually, Ursula comes on, oh, Baz, how's it, man?
Yeah.
Hugs, kisses, all that shit. So she says to me, do you want to do some? And I said, yeah, I'll do 10 minutes,
Yeah.
So we go backstage. And now she's closing.
Yeah.
And she's the MC plus closing.
Now, for people to understand, Ursula is massive. Yeah.
So anyway, it was before she got massive, but she was flying.
Yeah.
So there's this other New Zealand comedian, a lady, who turned out she was absolutely vulgar, like you cannot begin to imagine, without talent. Do you know what I'm saying?
A terrible combo.
It was just like shock me.
Yeah.
So Ursula said to her, listen, you're going to go on and Barry will go on. And this woman said, who the hell is this guy?
What is going on?
Who the hell is this guy? I am saying, I don't even know. And swore at me and all that stuff. He goes on before me.
Oh, God.
So Ursula said to her, at your own pedal. So So I went on and I smashed it.
Yeah.
And then this woman was in the wings, like.
Yeah.
So, and Ursula, what I liked about Ursula, she was pretty big there. She introduced me. This is Baz. He started me off.
Yeah.
Gave me a chance. Great.
Great.
So, the moral of the story is there. No matter who you are. Yeah. Don't ever think that you're the best.
Just be decent.
Be nice.
Just be decent. And also the thing turns, man. The wheel turns. I'm always going to be doing stand-up.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be at the same level. You know, God willing, forever up. But you understand that it's ebbs and flows in this thing. You're going to be hot and then they're going to find you again. And these things happen. But if you're kind to people, it's sort of just good business.
Always. I like us now. I like working clubs, 150, 200, up to 500. I love it. It's because my style of comedy is evolved in such a way that it's more of a conversation I have with people.
Yeah.
So what do you do? No, I'm a psychologist. And I'll go like, really? Fantastic. What do you think? You know, and so I'll answer back.
Okay.
I do this, I do that. So we chat and we have fun and I have a jaw. And now people are bringing their kids to my shows.
What a pleasure.
It's a fantastic thing for me.
What a thing.
They bring their children to my shows.
Yeah.
13, 14. And then these kids, by the end of the show, they love me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not ugly.
Yeah.
I mock their parents with them and all that stuff. Yeah. And those kids now have become my fans.
Of course they do.
So we grow up and maybe that's why. I don't know. Look, I don't know how long I'll do it, but I still love doing it. I said to Sandy, when I physically have to go on stage and work for my money, it's time to stop.
Yeah, then it's time to stop.
When I have to really work hard to get the laugh.
Yeah.
Now I'm on stage, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
So then why should I stop?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If politicians can carry on until they're 90,
yes.
So why can't we? And it's like you said, and I'm very, very honored that you said that I'm relevant.
Yeah.
Because I change my stuff all the time and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm over the. Don't you know who I am? I went through there. You went through there.
Yeah.
I'm sure
you get to, and that's normally when you're not as confident at your popularity or ability, because now your ego is telling you must remind people.
I'll give you a story today.
Yeah.
My son's girlfriend, she's a really lovely girl. She's staying with us for the holidays. Fantastic. And so we go to this restaurant in the Strand. It's really good, called Villa Mora. It's brilliant. On the beach. So I phone up Dennis.
Yeah.
And I said to him, Dennis, can I book a table tonight, please, for 4?
Yeah.
And he said to me, yeah, Baz, no problem. Whatever. What time? I told him, we're going to come about 6 or 6, something like that. So I said to him, and I'll we'll sort everything out. He says, no, you don't pay. And I said to him, Dennis, it's myself, it's Sandy, it's Jack, and Tabby.
Yeah.
He said, have you any idea what happens if people walk past and they see you in my restaurant? And I was like, Dennis, I didn't phone you for that.
Yeah.
He said, no, please, come.
Oh, lovely.
So isn't that a wonderful form of respect?
Lovely.
So I said to him, you know what I'll do tonight? I will just make a few little video. I said, I'm at Villa Mora, you must taste the sausage, it's fantastic, it's brilliant.
Yeah, great.
So that's great.
That's fantastic, and it's worth its money.
If we were live now, I would say to people, guys, I'm at Villa Mora tonight, pull in. But we're not live. Are we live?
No, we're not.
There we go. So, but it doesn't. So I'm going to go on my Facebook page tonight, and I'll just say, dudes, I'm going to eating at Villa Mora tonight. Why don't you join us? We're having a jaw or whatever.
Here we go.
And then so I'm using my.
But it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, but I'm using my fame in a nice way to help a friend.
Yeah, but Uncle Baz, that makes a difference because there's a credibility that you add. It's a brand. You're a brand it's tried and tested. People trust you. So when people go and try that thing, they know they can go try that thing. Another thing you touched on earlier, and this is something I just want to, because I don't want to keep you for too much longer, is the mental health thing. You've been very honest about mental health, ADHD, all those things. And the work you're doing now, do you find that, why do you feel it's so important that we discuss these things?
Let's go watch Barry Hilton tonight. We're going to laugh sticking for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go home tomorrow. We're going to tell our friends, saw Barry Hilton. What jokes did he tell? I don't know. Because that's what happens. When you know you do a really thing.
Yeah.
Let's go watch Barry Hilton do his honest talk. My talk is very serious.
Yes.
But it's seriously funny. Because that's humor is the way of, it's a medicine. Yeah. Those guys go home and they go like, wow, I'm not so bad. I can actually do this. I can do that. So we get phone calls, we get letters, we get referrals, and I'm starting a new business model.
Yeah.
That you can't explain. I can't explain the feeling I get that I'm actually helping somebody.
Yeah.
Saying to people, it's okay, bro.
Yeah. I've gone through this.
It's okay. It's fine. I thought about suicide a few times. I really did. You get a lot of crap happened. Loads of stuff happened to me in my life. Yeah. That the average oak, Yeah. People are not. They say to me, "Well, why aren't you like this multi-zillionaire?" And I say, "Because life."
Yeah.
I do okay.
Yeah.
My brother got sick. I looked after my brother. I paid his mortgage. I did this. My accountant ran away. I had to pay the taxman that flipping this much. They don't care. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got divorced. Boom. All that. I had houses. I had everything. Yeah. I laugh about it now. I had houses, a couple of houses. I've still got some now. I say I had all these houses, but my ex-wife's lawyers got them now. But so the fact that I can now do and change something, I don't have to be super wealthy. Yeah. I don't have to be like walk around the people thronging around me. What I have to be is Barry. Yes. That's the most important. Yes. And the fact that you did. Yeah. You phoned up Sandy and said, "Can I please have Uncle?" You didn't say, "I'm this. I want Barry." Maybe you said, "Can I please have Uncle Barry?" Yeah. You can't buy that, but I'm honored that you got me it. Oh,
thank you so much.
But I'm saying you can't buy that. You can't buy that. So that's the point I'm at in my life. I do well. I do okay. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm under no pressure to do massive shows. Yeah. The beauty about knowing is that I know I could. If they said to me tomorrow, "Can you go to the Sydney Opera House?" Yeah, easy. Yeah, yeah. Easy. But you've also walked the walk. You've done the thing. And you know what? There's comics out there that I speak to them and they say, no, they've never had a bad show. And I tell them straight to their face, "So you're lying." 100% lying. You're lying. 100% because lying. If you haven't died at least 5% of your career, 100%, or even 10%, then you're not pushing hard enough. Yeah. You're not trying new stuff. And then, funny enough, one guy said to me, "I never die because my set works." I said, 15 minutes. Dude. I said, "You know where you're going to be in 10 years' time?" "Where?" I said, "Nowhere." Yeah. Also, guys think that this is not the US, and the way the world is people hear your jokes quicker now than ever before. Huge. You've got to move on fast because with the internet, it's such a wild thing. If you're an American, sure, maybe you tour the whole country. That's a massive country. I'm South Africa. That, but I don't want to do that again. Oh, you did that? No. I don't want like to do touring. The big touring. Yeah. Because, oh man. Yeah. Do you know that the thing is, I'll tell the people out there, we are so fortunate to be able to do what we do and still love what we do. Absolutely. It's not about this. No. It's not about Corp 2. It's just about this inner feeling you get that I'm doing something right. Getting back to my talk. Yeah. So when I do my talk, if you'd like to punt it for me, it's Barry. Please, absolutely. Punt away. No, it's Barry Hilton, My Life in 3D. My talk is about mental health, myself suffering from ADHD and dyslexia, and how I've taken all of my adverse things in my life and turned it around. My brother dying of cancer, my mother being mocked because she was crippled, and stuff like that. And I've turned everything around to humor. So my message out there in my talk is, dudes, shit happens. That you have two choices. Yeah. You can go down or you can make a joke about it and go up. Yes. Who's the funniest people in the Cape? I'll tell you they are. The oaks in the roughest areas. Yeah, because they have things to live. The roughest areas in the Cape Flats. Yeah. they are the funniest people.
Because they've got stories to tell.
My son plays soccer at this moment in time now.
Yeah.
For Hanover Park.
Okay.
I cry with laughter every time we go there because some oak is chirping about what happened at work.
Yeah.
Those people who have got not much, they're the funniest people without knowing, because naturally they are boosting themselves up.
Yes, and using humor, and they've got stories and life to tell.
Look, I must admit, ever since Jack's been playing for Hanover Park, he's learned quite
of
a
words.
new vocabulary.
A couple of words.
But you know what? Isn't this the weirdest thing? The nicest people.
Yeah. Jack
went to go play for Hanover Park. The whole team said to me, "Hey, how's that? Lucky you here, nothing wrong with that. Shall I speak to you in Afrikaans? Shall I do this?" So Jack comes home to me. He says to me, "Dad," I'm sorry about this. He said to me, "Dad, it's the weirdest thing. Nobody uses their name here." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I met this oak." I said, "What's your name?" "Adriaan, but you can call me Juju." I said, I'm Peter, but you can call me Socks. I'm thinking, what the hell?
He got a nickname.
He knows everybody with a nickname.
Yeah.
There's one oak who plays with Jack. He's as hard as nails, this guy is.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. I mean, but his nickname is Pastor.
Yeah, well.
Go figure it.
Yeah. Pastor.
But I'm saying, my son had a good laugh about it, and they're great. So they're working out a name for Jack now.
Of course they are. It's coming. How old is Jack now?
He's 15.
He's 15, so that keeps you young.
Yeah,
you're back on going to soccer games and.
But I love it, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a joy. How old's your babies?
My eldest is 7 and my baby is 2. He's turning 2.
So my eldest is 45, I think.
Yeah, he's older than me.
She. And
she's older than me.
Jack is my youngest. I got 7.
You got 7 kids?
I got 6 of my own. My daughter with Janice.
Yeah.
And if you ever hear this, Janice, I really am sorry. I cocked. It was my fault.
Okay.
Really, it's true. I got 4 with my ex-wife now, and I've got 1 with Sandy.
Yes.
We married again with Jack. But my nephew phoned us up about 5 years ago and said, "Listen, Uncle Baz, can I please become a Hilton?" So, bully.
Oh, so another one. You added one.
What do you do, bro?
Yeah, what are you going to say? Also, how many grandchildren are there?
I've got 7 and 8 coming on.
But
you know how... Hey, Dad, I just phoned to tell you I love you.
Oh, man.
Bradley, the other day,
he
phoned me up. He said, "Dad, I want to thank you for putting up with all my crap."
Yeah.
I said, "Why?" He says, "No, because I'm a successful guy now. I've done this and I've done that. And I'm so proud that you're my dad." I was in tears, but he didn't see it. But I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You can't buy that, man.
You can't. You know, that's a lovely way to end this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And thank you very much out there.
And how do we find you for that talk? It's barry.co.za, right?
It's barryhilton.com.
Oh, barryhilton.com. I thought it was back. No, it's the slogan on the page. I looked. Yes. Okay, it's barryhilton.com.
Yeah, barryhilton.com.
You can
My life in 3D.
100%.
Can I give Sandy's number?
Yes, give it.
082 7311 311.
Please.
Or if you want to email her, sandybarryhilton@gmail. She's got all these other fancy things, but the weirdest thing is sandybarryhilton@gmail is like instant.
Yeah.
It works for her. So sandybarryhilton@gmail. Book me for my talk on mental health.
Absolutely.
Besides being very serious, it's seriously funny.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming, Uncle Barry.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Uncle Barry, make you feel old.
Hey.